So previously you can see that we defined our variable and made it true, and in doing the check all we have to do is put if and then the name of the variable, and then it does the check automatically. So it knows to say that if this is something is true. So the default is to check if something is true. Now what if it's actually false? So this time we define the world as flat is actually a false value. So you can see it highlights blue, which means it's a built-in command or value in this case. So false is one option. You can make a Boolean. So to check if something is false, we add the not, which is this exclamation point, equals false. So here it's being checked, or rather true. Something does not equal true, which is the same as being false. So this time, instead of printing "be careful not to fall off," we can say something like "the world is round." So since of course if the world is not flat, then it's round. So here we're saying the world is flat equals false instead of true. We're checking to say that now it is not true, that is, it's false. So using the not value, which is an exclamation point. And as you can see, the indented output in this case is a print statement, which says the world is round. So we should get something that says the world is round. And if we run it, sure enough, it says the world is round. Okay, so let's try something else now. Remember, Python acts effectively also like a calculator. It can do some basic arithmetic and calculations for us quite easily, like you would normally in a calculator. Of course, we can do far more sophisticated things than that, but let's just do some basic functions before we can see how that builds into a more complex function. So let's say I just want to do some basic maths here, something where I just subtract some values, or rather, oops. Here I'm basically doing some normal order of operations in mathematics as I would, so I'm doing something in parentheses there, in brackets, where I'm subtracting 5 from 50, dividing by 6, and then dividing by 4. Rather, I want to multiply, not divide, and then just trying to see what output I get. So here I could effectively do it like this. Now in this particular IDE, we do have to actually print the result. So it will do the calculation, but it will not show us the result if we don't print it. Although, as you'll see in week 1, I made it so that you actually automatically print the output. And that's because I was running directly off the Python interpreter. So in this case, we're actually running off of an online compiler, where you have to actually run the print statement to show the result. So we'll do that in this case, a little bit different than what you have in your week 1 example. So you see the result is 5.0.